All right, moving on to some NHL topics. I mean, Alexander Ovechkin's going to be in San Jose this weekend. In my mind, there's no question he's going to break the goals record. It's been amazing, though, at his age, how he's kind of turned it back on again to get back to pace and make sure that this actually happens. Whether it happens this year or next year, it's just amazing it's going to happen now.
Yep. Yeah, it really like by the time a player's in their late 30s, they're not supposed to score like this.
Yeah.
Like it's just not supposed to happen. So like especially with last year where he didn't score at the same rate, I thought, okay, so this year probably about 30 goals. He'll probably break the record the following year, but he's going to cut it close. It's quite possible he breaks the record this season, which is ridiculous.
Now, as long as it doesn't happen this weekend, I'm better with that. Even though it would be fun to see it in person, just I don't want the Sharks history with it. Brad Marchand to Florida, Rantanen first to Carolina, then to Dallas. I mean, with the exception of maybe an Ovi and a Sid and a Connor McDavid, maybe an Austin Matthews, nobody is safe in this league anymore, are they?
No, and I mean, it's, as somebody that cheers for Boston, I kind of felt bad about the Marchand thing. Like I understand both aspects of it, but I thought it was kind of sad he didn't retire as a Bruin.
Yeah.
It is more rare, it seems, that the guys spend their entire careers with one organization. I do kind of like it when they do, but it's a business, and with what the salary cap's supposed to do over the next few years, I have a feeling we'll see a lot of movement of big names.
Yeah, I don't want to get to the salary cap going way up in just a second, but first, I mentioned Sid. Does he stay on the Penguins forever? Does he retire as a Penguin?
So far, there's been nothing that he's ever said about wanting to leave Pittsburgh,
Right.
and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be truthful about wanting to stay in Pittsburgh. I think he wants to retire there. I think he and Malkin and Letang all want to stay together. And I mean, maybe if one of them decides to go, maybe that changes the mind of one of the other two, but it definitely sounds like all three of them want to retire Penguins.
Yeah, I mean, Ovi may not even play past, I think, next season. He's already kind of indicated that, or at least not in the NHL, maybe in the KHL. But those two, it'd be fun to see him stick, but I would understand in Sid's case, the contention part, like the Penguins just may not be there. Back to the salary cap. It's a hard salary cap in the NHL versus other leagues, and the cap has kind of been frozen right around 80 million for a handful of years. Now it's going to shoot through the roof. In fact, 113 million, I think, by 2027. What's the effect on the product of the NHL that we're going to see maybe when the cap goes up? Does the product change?
It's going to be tough for the teams that don't generate as much money.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be really difficult. And it's going to be tough for Canadian teams too, because the Canadian dollar being lower than the American dollar, they have to pay more because it's the Canadian dollar. And right now, with all the uncertainty between the two countries, that is really going to bring that into focus. Canadian teams are going to have to get really creative on keeping players, or they might have to overpay to keep them. We could see the league, at least in the short term, we might see big spenders become similar, not quite at the same level as say like Major League Baseball, but we could see a league of haves and have-nots for a bit until things stabilize.
Well, speaking of haves and have-nots, Canadian teams have not won a Stanley Cup since the Habs did in 1993. Right. You got Winnipeg this year. Toronto, who knows if they can get past the first round. Edmonton looking sharp again. Ottawa maybe surging a little bit. Is this finally the year that a Canadian team gets the Stanley Cup?
You know, I'd love to say yes. I don't know. Looking at the teams right now, I don't know, and it's weird for me to say this, but to me it looks like Dallas is the juggernaut to beat.
Yeah.
The Dallas could be the team, and then in the East, I still don't know if anybody can knock Florida out. So I would love to see Winnipeg, and of all the Canadian teams, they're the ultimate. They're the smallest market. They're the ones that I think almost every fan base would be happy for if they won one. They're probably Canada's best hope, but I don't know. That it is going to be really difficult to come out of the Central Division because they'd have to play the winner of Dallas, likely Dallas, Colorado in the second round, and that is going to be very difficult.
You just need the Canucks to be good again. Come on, Shannon, right?
I, you know, I I really want to believe in the Canucks. I really do. But it feels like they have a good year, like they had a good year in 2019, 2020, and then it was just a disaster after. They had a good year last year, and now it's been a disaster this year. And it's very frustrating put it that way, very, very frustrating because they're never really good for a long time, which you need if you're going to win a championship.
No lack of drama in Vancouver this season.
Never,
Uh,
never. I try not to do videos on the Canucks because I'm like, all right, I'm in the market. I try not, but there's just so
right,
much stuff that
right.
goes on. I'm like, I'm gonna have to talk about this again.
Hopefully the Sharks can give you more to talk about in prior or in future years. The Four Nations success to the point where I don't see how the NHL can ever announce another All-Star game and be like really excited about it. Like it's going to be a spectacle compared to what Four Nations was. How does the NHL do this moving forward now? They've created a monster.
Well, they do have a couple of years to think it through because
Right.
next year we have the Olympics.
Right.
So the Winter Olympics will, shut the league down for a
Right.
few weeks and all of that. And then they're going to do the World Cup in 2028. So the World Cup of Hockey is coming back in 2028, which leaves 2027
Mm-hmm.
as the year where I'd like to see them do like they can do like a skills competition. They can have like little, exhibition stuff for kids but find a way to make something that's more competitive. Like obviously you don't want to do the international tournament every single year because eventually it starts to lose its luster.
Right.
But yeah, just a regular All-Star game isn't gonna like I've ignored the All-Star game for years because it's to me it's almost not hockey. It's all non-touch and it's just 3-on-3 and it's kind of fun, but I just kind of skip it because
Yeah.
it's not there's no intensity to it.
I've always said you can have the all-star teams, you just don't need to have them play games. Like give the players
Absolutely. You can, yep.
recognition and then there you go. Don't play the games. Last thing
Yeah.
for you. Of all the there's criticism of the NHL. I make them sometimes, so do you, but it's because we care. Like we want this league to find success. We want this to be a better league and a more popular league. On the flip side of that, what do you think is the best thing the NHL has going right now at this moment?
I think that this season, the fact that there are so many teams that are still alive for the playoffs with about 6 weeks left in the season
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
There's more reason for people to go and watch games as opposed to other seasons where nobody's anywhere near the playoff line and it's all decided by February. I think the league is doing a better job at marketing itself, and I think if they look at expansion the right way and if they do go beyond 32, as long as they do it in a smart fashion, I think the one thing with the NHL is I think they need to stop worrying about NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, and just carve their own niche and go their own way. And I think they'll do really, really well. But the league's definitely doing well this year with so many teams still being in the hunt.
Hey, last thing, how did you get a Los Tiburones jersey? How did you
I
even
actually
get that?
had this one I got off eBay.
Oh,
I go
wow.
on eBay and I just type in San Jose like exhibition jersey, fashion jersey because I love the specialty jerseys they give out. And I've also got like subscribers know that I like those, so they'll actually send them. So I've had a couple that were sent to me. Like I've got the Golden State one, which is so beautifully ugly. And like, because it's just the Golden State colors with the Sharks logo is just anytime I want the wife's attention, I just throw that on. She's like, "Holy crow! Okay, hey, I'm paying attention. What do you want?"
It's too bad you don't know a Sharks employee to give you some fun stuff, huh? Call me, Shannon. I'll get whatever you want.
I do like I've got one of the neck chains too for the Sharks. I've got this like the day that they start winning, I've got the neck chain. I've got this whole planned out. And so we'll see when that gets used in a video, but I've got some fun stuff.
Well, I love the props. I love the jerseys. I love the whiteboards. The hockey guy is one of the best. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thank you.